we're gonna go ahead and introduce ourselves, so that we can get started. We didn't really talk about what we're gonna talk about today, but there is one thing I definitely wanna talk about. Anyway, my name is Michelle Jackson. I am the founder of Creators Getting Paid, and I work with creators on collaboration and list building. I also run a project called Square State Colorado. So if you are vaguely curious about Colorado after the Paradise finale that I haven't watched yet and that a whole bunch of people are ruining for me, um, then that is the website you would go to, Angela.
Lovely.
Hold on, what's that thing hanging from your top of your screen?
That's
Me?
my I have it in a little sound boxy thing. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry
Hey
about it. Okay.
everybody. My name is Angela. I write two newsletters, Please Hustle Responsibly and Melanin MVP. So if you're a creator entrepreneur or you just love women's sports, those are the newsletters for you. Corey.
My name is Corey Gums. I had a brain fart for a second.
Who am I?
I'm the founder of Black Pod News and the founder of Black Podcasters Association. Welcome everybody to the show.
This show. So today, can we I'm gonna share a topic that I want to start off with because I'm still so excited about it. Um, for those of us who create content, video focused content, a big thing happened over the weekend, which is a new app was released on the Apple uh, App Store. I have Android, but it's coming to Android, called Dual Shot. It's the Dual Shot app. Now, there are a couple of reasons why I'm super excited about everything about this. And I actually dedicated my newsletter today to talking about this. The creator's name is Derek. He is the guy who does all the content about Richard the Squirrel. He's the most whimsical Black man on the internet, or one of them, one of the most whimsical people. And he's just a joyful person. Dual shot recorder from the squirrel guy. And I just love everything about how this has nothing to do with his front facing brand, but he solved this huge problem for all these people creating this type of, or using their devices to create different types of video. They might not necessarily be content creators. They just want to record a video and put it out there. And he's created this thing that has simplified something that is so irritating. And it's wild to me because I feel like, why didn't anybody ever think to just figure that problem out? And so I just am always thinking about there's always a problem out there to solve, but it may not be like when people tell you solve a problem and then you can make money online, it doesn't always mean that it has to be for your direct audience. It could be just a problem and that there's multiple other people who are impacted by that problem. Thoughts?
I mean, I am not surprised that this like hasn't been made before, but I also think like it's a combination of like something that mobile creators want plus the price being just right. I think the price was like between $7 and $10, so like super
Mhm.
affordable for a paid app. When a lot of camera apps that are paid are much more than that. And I say much more than that, they're in the double digits, probably somewhere in the $40 to $90 range. So I think he
Oh,
hit
wow.
it right on the target on. Oh, Chloe, what's up, girl? Um, so you hit it right on the target with the money, or with the pricing, and then with just the simplicity of use and the simple premise. So yeah, no subscription, one-time payment. So it hit a lot of the
Mhm.
right things at the right time for a lot of people. So
I saw somebody posted that that feature was actually available on Samsung 25.
it
At
probably
the
is.
Uh,
T5, so
Probably is, yeah.
I thought that was thought it was interesting.
But that would mean that you have like a $2,000 phone, so which
oh,
some people may not have.
which I do not.
Yeah, so
I was just not making noise
I
of it.
will not.
yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. But I love that. he still was able to solve a problem in a complete like maybe he solved the same. Has a similar solution to that same problem, but $10 you can't beat in this economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a great deal.
Yeah. I also think, again, like, I saw this on Threads, and I think the Threads community just kind of, like, took it to another
Yeah,
dimension, which was awesome for him.
Lauren has it.
I was just guesstimating. I don't know how much phones cost, girl. I haven't bought a phone in years. But yeah, so or maybe you have an
I'm really
iPhone. I
sad.
don't know. An iPhone. I don't know. For the iPhone users out there.
I'm sad because I bought a new phone this year, but then I dropped it before I got my case because, of course, that's what happens. But I didn't spend a lot of money on it, so it's like whatever, and we're just gonna make it work.
That's rough, friend.
You didn't have insurance?
Insurance on your phone?
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
only I didn't buy an expensive phone, so because I know I do stuff like this.
That's even why.
So,
Okay. Look, I'm on my 3rd iteration of my phone. Thank you, Apple Care. Shout out to Apple Care.
Yeah.
oh,
What a mercy. Okay.
Michael's like, "That hurts." It
Um,
was a sad day, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay. Shamiko cleared it up. So the dual record on S25 is for rear and forward camera simultaneously, not vertical and horizontal. Horizontal.
Oh,
What's going on with
okay.
you?
yeah.
We're so mellow today. What the
Well, today was a nice, balmy, beautiful 75 degrees in New York or somewhere around there, which has been a
New
big
York?
jump up. Well, I don't know. It's weird because like last Saturday, it was a beautiful day to the point where I sat down and was enjoying the sun in Union Square Park, you know,
Ooh,
there for a little while. And then
okay.
um and then the next day it just went completely to crap. So, that's the good old New York City weather. So
Mondo, please stop rubbing it in. Thank you very much.
I know, right, Mondo? Like, it's an investment, especially
Damn.
if you known to like I'm known to crack screens all the time. So like that's why I was like, okay, I could put Apple Care on this for monthly. All right, I got you.
I mean, I might end up just having to buy another phone because it is annoying me.
Mhm.
But if I do that, I'll buy the same exact phone because I like it, but I will um buy the case first and then then that way it's here when the phone arrives. This is
I,
Angela has been the unwilling how do I say this? She has observed how executive dysfunction works both for myself and for Corey.
yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say, okay? I get a lot of shit done, but occasionally there are some issues. It is
so
what it is.
anyways, let's talk about Threads. So
I have a question because like, are you guys concerned? Like, it's been pretty quiet in like the podcast, with the exception of Vox Media. I've seen news about Vox Media selling off their podcast, and there was a little bit of question because they don't own they don't own the IP, so it's
Mhm.
kind of weird like how that situation was going on. But it's been pretty quiet as far as news goes, as far as I've seen or heard, like in the news in the podcast space. Like I'm a little concerned because usually and maybe this is my trauma response, when it gets too quiet, I'm like, all right, something's about to happen.
So I think
Are you
it's
I
guys
mean,
feeling
we've been watching those Iranian, Lego movies. That's been intriguing.
the
They
fact that
have
they're using
apparently
American
a
water?
creator factory.
They're using American water to produce propaganda videos against our current administration is hilarious to me. But
It's a lot, like, from a creative perspective. Literally, I'm putting on that hat and talking about nothing else. I feel like it's wild to watch this, especially because I did interview an amazing Lego animator for creators getting paid last year. He's amazing. And I feel like I want to just be like, dude, what are your thoughts about that? But I think it's weird how we have this very serious thing happening, but then part of the conversation solution, I don't even know what, are these wild Lego propaganda videos. It's crazy to me. Shamiko is writing about media, creative ownership. Ooh, I like that. And capitalism. Oh, oh, I can't wait to read that. I think that's going to be really interesting. I'm here for it. Hey, Gail.
Here's
So I
some
want
good
to go
news
back.
for you. I just saw this news, Angela,
What's up?
and they need to reach out to you. Beehive is reaching out to podcasters. They're rolling out a
Ooh,
podcast program.
Angela.
Yeah, I'll check into it. Might be similar to what they did for journalists. I think every email provider has gone through this phase. Like Kit went through this phase about 18 months ago, where they were reaching out to like the Jay Shettys, the um, Ellen DeGenereses, like trying to get people with big podcast audiences to come to Kit. So Um, Beehive did their creator journalism program or media collective. That's worked really well. So I think podcasting is the next step. They've added some podcast functionality to their website. And I think they have some like AI podcasting features. So basically if you write something, it'll generate an AI voiced um audio episode for your show. And it'll create an RSS feed for your newsletter, an audio RSS feed. Um, so they have some functionality already. I'm not surprised. Haven't checked the Slack channel today, so I'm sure they put something in there about it, but I'll check it out. I also want to go back to Corey's original prompt about like the podcasting space being a little bit quiet, and the only like recent news was Vox selling their selling their podcast to Netflix. So just again, and this is probably because I listen to way too many podcasts, so this is not necessarily a new thing. So Vox has sold podcasts and shows to Netflix before. Because Cleo Abrams, who's a really popular like science YouTuber, she was originally employed by Vox, and she's a video journalist as well, but she was originally employed by Vox, and in collaboration with Vox and Netflix did a show exclusively on Netflix. And she praised the deal. She was like, "I've had the multi-million-dollar Netflix deal, and it was amazing, and I've had a great team, and now I have my own
Hmm.
YouTube show that I have my own team of like animators and researchers, and I love that too." So I think like people like Johnny Harris, Cleo Abrams, who've been with Vox and have, like, video journalism training, and know how to craft a really good show are gonna benefit a lot, and I think Netflix is gonna benefit a lot from having, like, really good. I mean, like, that's Netflix's core thing, it's just having the best content, like, that's where they hang their head, um, not necessarily having the most content. So I think Netflix is gonna benefit even if they don't necessarily own the IP. So I think it's generally a good thing. Um, there's been a couple of other little podcast headlines that I've seen here and there, nothing major. The guy that is the founder of Transistor FM, he was talking about how video podcasts were like always originally intended to be a part of Apple Podcasts since like 2005 or something, according to some
Yeah, what is
presentation
on
that
there? Yeah.
Steve Jobs did. So that was interesting that he's like super researcher, super scholar of like the podcast space. I feel like he keeps the space honest, and I know that at a couple of or at least at the podcast movement evolutions in April of last year, whenever we went to Chicago, he held like a little town hall with all the like podcast hosting sites that were there. So like Dystopia was there, Red Circle was a part of that meeting where they were like trying to talk about how they were thinking about integrating like video podcast hosting into their platforms. So he's been on like the forefront of a lot of these conversations. So it's cool to see that he's still out there like doing his thing. Um, Rob tagged me in something on Threads that was about people debating whether or not Oprah's podcast was really a podcast because of
Oh
the
yeah.
voice quality. Okay, so another like little thing about this argument that feels interesting um, is that YouTube back in the day did not start as like people with DSLRs and like all these cameras making all these like high produced videos. It was like people with their phones doing prank challenges and like search friendly content, stuff like that. Now YouTube is largely known for having like big production quality. And that has been like a very big shift um away from, and it's still somewhat entertaining, but a lot of it is educational as well. But I don't think there's, to my knowledge, and seeing that like shift happen, there was never a debate about like, well, who's a real YouTuber based on the production quality. I'm not sure why podcasting has this debate over whether or not something is a real podcast based on the production quality. Because one of the complaints was that, well, how can it be a podcast if she has 4 cameras and a production crew? That means it's not a real podcast or something like that. And I was like, I don't think that's how that works, question mark. But here we are.
I
Y'all want
think
to complain about complain.
I think the bigger issue isn't it with Oprah specifically is how we as an audience already identify her. I think that subconsciously is leading how we perceive the content that she's designing
Well, she's
because
had a podcast
mo
and an RSS feed for years.
I had no idea.
My mom
Um,
listens to it.
uh,
It's not for us. It's for other but she's had it for years. Like, my mom would tell me she listens to it on her walks. I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So, it's like, it's been
oh,
around. I don't know why this debate
okay.
is happening. I don't know.
Okay, well, Oprah, girl, sorry. Oh, okay, okay. I vaguely
I
remember
mean,
this now.
I have a I
Uh,
my well, I commented on there, and I kind of just went a little off on it. It's this the whole conversation is like it's really about the purist versus growth. I would say
mm,
like a lot of the people who've been in this space for a very long time that are the like have been doing this for a very long time, so they're kind of like stuck into it's I always attribute it to something like where like when the car was invented and the people, everybody was like, well, horses still do the job. Like, I don't want to, like that whole argument. Humans have a problem with change, especially if something that they've adopted and it's become a part of their culture and a part of their identity. So I think that's where a lot of that conversation comes from. But like I was saying, like I responded to Rob, I was just basically saying, like, it's 2026. This argument is getting stale. We've been having this argument. I know for the past 6 years that I've been in podcasting. um, I think some of it is a jealousy thing,
mm,
because going to video requires extra work. It requires extra resources that some people. It's easier for me to scream at the clouds in the sky than to actually adapt to it. Like the old man screaming at the clouds, like that kind of mentality. I think some of it also is the evolution of content creation, right? Like I think podcasting is like if you wanna go audio, then go audio, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Like, no matter what, the data still supports that that's the majority of where people listen to podcasts, right? On their phones, wherever, when they're doing stuff. Even on YouTube, they're doing other things,
right.
right? So they're still listening. Um, I think we have to start realizing. I know, like recently, I've been having some with people. It's just been like, okay, you're building a media company and you have to decide for right now, whatever budget or wherever you're at, what's the right place for distribution? Where's your audience at, right? Like if I'm trying to attract a younger crowd, is it going to be an audio only podcast? I don't think so.
Mm,
Right? Like we got, so does it mean you have to add some video to it because a lot of the youth are looking for, that's where they consume a lot of their content. Just like music. Like I'm still, as somebody who's heavily into music, I'm still tripping off the fact that people listen to music on YouTube but not Spotify, Apple Stream. I mean, Apple Music, right? Like, I'm like, that's just crazy to me.
That's
uh,
Because
me. That's so
yeah,
me.
it's a weird thing to me. And I know I know YouTube has their music thing, but I'm like, I've literally watched people on their phones like looking for music on, and I'm like, you're listening to the video version. There's like album cuts, there's other cuts like that you won't get on here like that. And a lot of those accounts that have music on them, some of the music they're getting paid and not the artist. So like I'm a little.
Well, I
well,
support the artist. I go to the page 9 times out of 10, but
Artists don't even
while
own those pages, but, that's a whole nother conversation, but
it is, but I think there's also, like, music channels on YouTube, like Colors, and Spotify Outdoors has a series, like, there's a lot of I may not be
yeah,
able to
man.
get certain album cuts on that are, like, on Spotify, but you get other types of
I get it. I
performances.
mean, but I think the whole point I'm trying to make is, like, you gotta meet your audience where they're at, and, I think is there should you do video? I think the real question is, should you do video, right? And
oh yeah.
I think that question comes down to the individual creator and what they're trying to accomplish versus just saying, this or that, but I don't know. I sometimes I sit back and just listen to how people get all riled up over it, And I mean, myself included, right? Like I consider myself an audio purist. I think podcasts or audio should be audio only, but I also recognize that we don't live in that time anymore. So it's either
Mhm.
adapt or die, right? It's either figure out how to make this work for you or be happy with the ceiling you may create for yourself if you choose not to add video or choose to add video because it could work both ways for you.
I think the reason why we're still in this, like, does video make a podcast? Should I add video in some way, shape, or form? One, again, it's like there's just a lack of knowledge about how video can be added versus like just slapping a video component on a podcast. Number two is that people who are still in the throes of like debating whether or not they should do video just haven't figured out how to market their podcast in general. So they're like scratching
Mm.
for whatever people are saying, and this is what people at the top are saying, like, do video because they can afford to do video versus, like, actually figuring out how to market their show. Um, which is, again, it's not easy as it is depending on the podcast, it depends on the audience, it depends on where your audience hangs out, and it depends on your capacity, but, ultimately, I just think it's a laziness issue at this point, of people not figuring out how to market their show. And maybe lazy is a strong word, but it's people not figuring out how to market their show and trying to find advice from people at the top and then getting upset when that doesn't fit their budget or their desires or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I think that people just have a I think that there's a naivety around how much time it takes to do certain things, and I feel like there's this whole "if I build it, they will come" mindset around, like, content creation and things like that, and I've recently come to the decision that, like, really looking at what my priorities are. My priorities in 2026 are to help the people that I need to help and make money. That's it. That's simple. For the next 2 months, I'm basically not producing content. Why? Because I'm going back and looking at products. I'm looking at my phone. I'm, like, looking at all the things that are kind of, I feel, broken in, my systems and in the back end of my business and making sure that they make sense to me, that there's a "and then what?" What do people do next? Versus, like, endlessly, I'm doing a reel, I'm doing this, I'm not producing that much content, like, compared to other people. But to Angela's point, like, marketing, has to make sense. Your content, if you're doing that, has to make sense. Like, it's not a hobby for me, right? Like, not these days. It's not a hobby. I need things to make sense in terms of time, in terms of my energy, and in terms of, like, outcomes. And so, it's just very interesting to me how people just have this idea that if they do something, they're just so charming or whatever that all of a sudden all these people are gonna find the work, and that's just not how it works. This is not. And a lot of really well-known people that we listen to their music or read their books or whatever, um, it takes years and years and years and years for a lot of most people to build the momentum to get the results that they're working towards.
I think,
And most folks don't wanna hear that.
shout out to Dr. Asia Lyons. She made a very, very great
She's in
point
Denver.
in a comment that made me realize I had a friend that's hearing impaired, and she used to complain, like, like it especially like 3, 4 years ago, like how she wants to enjoy it, but she can't because it's not accessible. But Dr.
Yeah.
Lyons said, I think video will be good for accessibility for folks experiencing disabilities that may benefit from the video. So I will say for somebody who thinks accessibility is a very important part of, and I think as content creators, we do have to realize that, you might be, you gotta be careful in regards to how you don't make things more accessible to your audience, because there are people out there and there are organizations that pursue you for that and file lawsuits against you. Like, I think if you're gonna do video for any one reason, it should be for accessibility issues. To
Mhm.
provide a good experience for all your fans and people who want to engage in your content all around. So I'll stand on that soapbox.
Yeah. Another thing that I got too from people who are hearing impaired, from audio podcasts too is that they would like to be able to have access to the transcript more
That's
easily.
yeah.
I'm sure there are tools now that make that easier, but that's like another step for them if it isn't native to whoever they're listening to. But that's another way to do it. Um, I think there's a lot of ways we can make podcasts more accessible that people just don't want to talk about or do, but whatever.
Did you guys see the Only Parks content? Uh,
No, I thought I was because I was coming home. I was a little tipsy, and I went on my Instagram while I was on public transportation. First, I saw the White House posted something about their app, and then right
okay.
immediately under that, it was something for about Only Farms, and I was like, and I couldn't find the post again, so I was like, was I tripping when I just saw that? Like, was that? Are we dead serious right now? Or and then it just disappeared off
National
my.
parks. The national Okay, everyone, we're gonna like share what we're talking about. The national parks apparently are running a little, like marketing thing called Only Parks, but it's like OnlyFans. And it is the most hilarious thing I've ever I cannot believe that they're doing this. The music, sublime. The Each park has its own little spin around the pole, if you will, and it is hilarious. People are torn, as you could imagine. Some people are upset about it. Some people I think it's funny. But I think it's a really interesting way to let people know that the parks are out there.
Well, I think it's
Oh
also
yeah,
like,
Lauren.
I think it's also that like the national parks are under attack. Like when JD Vance was like, why can't we just like use public lands for, logging and all this other bad shit? And this is their way of like fighting back in a fun way of saying like, no, people are coming to parks, like people are um learning more about parks and trying to prove that they should be funded federal because everything's being
Yeah,
defunded right now.
I just realized something. I was looking at Only Farms, and that's why I'm like sitting here listening to y'all like I'm
Only
confused.
Farms. I thought
Yeah,
you
well, it was
stuttered
Only
for a minute
Farms because I
there.
remember seeing
Hell
an
is
article
Only
about.
Farms.
I saw an article. So Only Parks is them basically trolling. The,
No, no, you need. Okay, Corey, you need to see this. It's
I'm gonna check it out, but I know
hilarious.
there was Only Farms, and like there was an article where he had like brought all these farmers out to announce it, and it
No,
was a complete disaster. So okay, I'm like
no,
park
no,
department. That's not what I read and saw.
no. This is totally different. This is Only Parks, national parks doing a OnlyFans approach to marketing our
Okay,
national parks.
gotcha. So
Lauren's like, no,
they're
Corey.
basically they're basically trolling the whole Only Farms idea that Trump released recently.
I have never seen this Only Farms. I'm just now discovering this, so I'm gonna have to look at that. I try not to look at anything he does, so I don't know what he's doing, but I will look at this so I even know what this is about.
Onlyfarms.gov.
Ugh, I don't even want to go. Ugh. I don't want that on my website, on my
Yeah,
laptop.
people
Like,
looking at
ugh.
John Deere's like, ooh, ah.
That's all right. Okay. Wait, that what?
It
Oh my
actually,
lord.
if you do onlyfarms.gov, actually goes to the White House website.
I don't want to even like. Ugh. I'd have to
Oh, you
sage
gotta
my
love the times
laptop.
we're living in. But I will say this, man, like whoever the social media team, for the administration they're wild. It's definitely I'm gonna be looking forward to the research that is done post Trump administration on that part. But
You know what I think about every day? Every day, that's a page in a history book later. I think about this, and some of the chapters are effed up. Okay, like I can't imagine having like a child or a grandchild later who's reading all this, and they'll be like, "Grandma, did that really happen? That the guy from Two Live Crew was fighting for like none of this makes sense." But
I'm surprised.
here we are.
I'm surprised with the response of everybody being surprised about Luke, considering
No,
that
I'm positive. I remember that, so I'm not surprised by him at all.
Yeah,
actually.
I guess it's a generational thing, you know, I
Yeah.
got old grays in my beard, but I remember, like, when I was in elementary school, that was a big thing with the whole 2 Live Crew and the First Amendment stuff, so, like, I'm like, he's been fighting it, and he used to put out songs and
Yep.
videos about it and then albums about, like, free speech and all that stuff, so I'm not surprised, and then he's done a lot in Miami, so, like, I guess if you're not paying attention to Uncle Luke or what he's been doing over the past 40, 30 plus years, you would be surprised, but I was just like, "Okay." And I just think on Threads, people just be acting extra for no reason.
Wild.
Like, "Oh my god!" Like, "Come on, calm down, yo." Like, you're 45 years old, you already knew that he was, like, politically involved and stuff, so stop.
I think I was more surprised about Chili because I don't follow TLC. Like, I've seen them
Yeah, oh,
live,
yeah,
but that was years ago. But I was more surprised about her. And it's also, like, it's always interesting when, like, people are in, like, a music group or, like, even on a sports team, and they have, like, drastically different views about things.
Well, it was interesting because I think it's T-Boz was, like, in a past interview was talking about how she has a colleague that she works with. She considers Chili a colleague, not a friend. Like, she called her a colleague, and I was like, "Damn, like,
Yeah.
that's wow, okay," after all this time, and that they aren't aligned, and this was years ago. So, um, I what I thought about most was just I just heard all the coins going away from that tour, and from all the people that I saw on my feed, they are not going to support this tour. They're like, "Can we put someone else up in there with T-Boz so that they're good?" Like, it is really surprising to me that Chili, not even that she believes what she believes, like, whatever, but that she really just is so misaligned from her audience. And that's not just her, like, there's all these people that we're finding, out are the same way, and you know what? Again, I'm not spending money in this economy or any economy with someone that is misaligned with my values. It's pretty straightforward. Like, I do this regardless of the times we're in. So there you go, you know?
It's definitely the
That's right,
industry now
Shamiko.
regardless, but, um,
But
I think this is an important conversation too for, like, as content creators, right? Like, one thing I tell people all the time, the internet will find out. The internet will
that's
find
right.
out, and the North always remembers, right? Like, you gotta be careful of, like, things I think what made it worse with Chili is she lied on top of it.
Mm.
That's right. They got receipts, like literal
Like,
receipts.
instead of just being like, "You know what? I made a mistake. This is where I was at a point in my life, and I've learned my lesson, and I'm now working hard to 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 distance myself from that and repair the damage that I've done." No, you said it's a lie, da 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 da, da, and you doubled down, and then the internet said, "Well, hold on a minute. By the way, your donation's a public record,
Yeah.
and here and not one, not two, but a slew of different donations." And we don't care
Yeah.
how much the amount was, it was the donation, right? And then T-Boz comes out and, then there's an old interview with T-Boz mentioning it, and it's kinda
Mhm.
like, and then you lied about the donations, so it's like I'm like, "Where's the PR? Where's the crisis management from your team, your management team?" And then,
They can't afford that without the new toy friend. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
Yeah,
joking.
I mean, all I know is those ladies were cussing that woman's ass out because their money is gone.
and I didn't see Salt's statement, but Salt kinda was, like, brushing it under the rug, and she was hiding behind her religious beliefs in response to it, so I'm just like, "Y'all are not helping this tour that came out of nowhere,
That you
actually. Nobody
need.
knew it was coming." It was kinda like, you know, um, it's just a hot mess. Lauren, there was evidence that came out that she made donations to MAGA through various MAGA PACs and
Mm.
Trump's, campaign.
I'm like, "You got, like, black women as an audience." I'm pretty sure they're not gonna love that, the majority. So, it has not gone well. And um, people were so excited. That's the sad part. I was excited. I would have flown to an not flown, I would have taken the train to another city. I'm not flying unless I need to right now. So it's just it's interesting. I do think to your point, Corey, like actually there's another part to this conversation, which is um as creators, are we obligated to we've brought this up before, but are we obligated in some sort of way to indicate how we believe or our beliefs, or are we obligated to at least be consistent so that if they research us, they're like, oh well, at least they're consistent. You know what I mean? I just wonder what is the obligation on behalf of an artist? This week there was a basketball player who was let go of the Chicago Bulls, and I I think in his case he might be crazy, but I'm not gonna like. He doesn't seem like a well guy, but he has a belief system, which is fine. But um, I don't know. It's interesting how people sometimes forget who employs you, and your audience in the case of TLC, the audience employs them. We are paying them, so we don't
I
have to. You know what I'm
so
saying?
with the Bulls was his I think his name was, like, Jaden Ivey, which is Neil
Yeah.
Ivy's son. I have a lot of opinions because Hannah Hidalgo, which is, like, star point guard on Notre Dame, has also made similar homophobic comments and shared homophobic stuff. Granted, she did not go on a
Oh
limb,
wow.
but we have 2 people closely under the tutelage of Neil Ivey who have said incredibly homophobic things and have
Mhm.
linked them to their religious beliefs. Fine. In the case of Neil Ivey's son, I think there's a couple of things going on. Number 1, this man is 24 and he just lost like 30 mil. Let's start there.
Yeah.
That's not a small chunk of change. I don't know what TLC was gonna make on this tour. I
More
don't
than
think
what they had before.
right, but I don't know if it was gonna be 30 mil. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So it's especially when you're splitting it a couple different ways. So
Yeah.
30 mil, 24. I think this guy has 3 kids and has made like not just, like, on social media, but, like, was in press gaggles with, like, reporters asking them if they were saved, asking them if they had fornicated before
Whoa.
marriage, like, there's a lot of
Whoa. Okay.
self-hating things going on here. If you have 3 kids at 24 and you're asking people whether or not they fornicated before marriage, clearly you have fornicated before marriage, and you have responsibilities, and now you have, like, talked your way out of 30,000,000.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think
Mm.
there's something else going on there.
Yeah.
Like when we use religion as a weapon to chastise people rather than to guide people and to help people, I think we're seeing the results of that. Like that is just I there's this old movie in the 90s with like Mandy Moore where she like threw a Bible at someone and the woman picked up the Bible and she's like, "The Bible is not literally a weapon. You do realize that, right? Like it is a guide. Like you're not literally supposed to use this to hurt people and like, get your point across that way." And I think in some way, shape, or form, we're seeing that happen with like Neil Ivy's son. Whether or not he went into a psychosis, whether or not he's mentally well, I think we can all argue that he's not mentally well, but the extent to
Right.
which he's not mentally well, I mean, I'm not gonna argue that on the internet. I'm not a therapist, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think, like, talking yourself out of like, freedom of speech, sure, not free of consequences, that's just the reality. Say whatever you want, feel free to say whatever you want, but, like, people
Yeah.
also have a responsibility to decide whether or not your vocalizations are detrimental to their life, their locker room, their wallet, whatever. So,
And
Well, I
there's a code of conduct for any, organization. And I think clearly he was violating the code of conduct. I'm sure behind the scenes they had him on what do you call that plan where you have to like do certain things in order to like
oh, the
corporate,
pimp.
I
stay.
know. Look,
You know
I
what I
haven't
mean?
worked in it for a company in years, so I don't know, but I've heard my friends talk
Yeah.
about it. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's not like one day they're like, "You know what? Fuck it, you're gone." They I'm sure went through steps just to cover their ass and to make sure that it's on paper that they were like, "This is what we tried to intervene, we tried to work with him. It just wasn't gonna work." Because I'm sure if he was saying stuff like this randomly to people behind the scenes in the locker room, he was probably a distraction, and I'll just say that. Yes, yes, Shamiko, professional improvement
And
plan,
on top
something
of it,
like that.
you're
Yeah.
coming off injuries, and you're not the same player you was when you got, you came over in a trade to one of the most storied, no nonsense, franchises, and then currently in the NBA. Like, it's like, and it's like I tell you, it's 2026. Like, okay, like this administration has made people feel empowered that they have a right to say whatever they want to say without consequences. And you're not the president of the United States, right? Like, you're not bulletproof like he is. So,
No
but
one is bulletproof, though.
I think
It no
unless
matter what, it's not gonna work.
right, like Trump is going to get his day. He's going to come real.
Everybody does. Every
And
dog
his
gets
term
his
come,
day, all
if his
right?
term come, that's the biggest fear right now. But this is not a political podcast, so
No.
but I think people need to understand, like, I always feel like you get ahead of the dirt, right? If I take it away from you, then how can you hurt me by it, right? Um, but I think as content creators, unless you've decided that this is the lane you're going to travel down, right? Like if you're a religious person and you want to start having content about your religion and your religious beliefs, everything comes with a consequence, and you have to stand by it, right? But I think part of the problem with access to having cameras, like, there's that prank going around with a dude acting like he ate all the food from his family and stuff, and people getting upset over that. You have stuff like this happening where people out in different spaces are opening their mouths and losing money over it. Um,
Mhm,
you have to realize, like, there's like, your personal beliefs are exactly that, your personal beliefs. They don't have to be espoused publicly. They don't have to be known publicly. They don't have to be preached about, or you don't have to be on a soapbox all the time about it, which is an irony on my side because sometimes I'll be saying stuff, but I understand that part. Like, I've accepted if I say it out loud, and and people like delete it, and I'm like, I'm not deleting it. I'm willing to accept the consequences of it.
mhm.
But that's also like, I
When
mean,
if I
one thing, one lesson Threads just taught me is like, you gotta be real careful what you about to say because you will get tore up over that. It reminds me of old Twitter, like how Twitter used to just get
Oh,
you
yeah.
once you put it up. Somebody's on you. But I think as content creators, like, not I think the discernment part is leaving from, like,
This.
is this a conversation I should be having here? And it's not a matter whether you're persecuted or being oppressed or anything. It's just a matter of, is this the space, or is this the place where I should um I should be saying this? Right. Like, what is like, why am I here?
Mhm,
Am I here to talk to you guys about podcasting and content creation, or am I here to talk about my religious beliefs?
mhm.
All I gotta say is people need to get back in the group chat, for real. I
Why
don't
do
know
we know all this stuff about people's lives?
no, but for real, I don't
Ugh,
know if Chloe is still in the chat, but, like, me and Chloe literally will text each other stuff that we know for a fact we can't put out on Threads because people will act
no.
an entire fool. We have a group chat. Other people need to get on the group chat shit because some of y'all, like, even I think Kev on Stage's wife, like, when people were, like, taking shots at Kev on Stage because, he was on a podcast and someone asked him, like, "If Jesus were to start a podcast right now, what do you think the podcast would be about?"
Oh,
And
I saw that.
yeah, and people were getting on him and saying, like, "Oh, he's not, like, a good representation of Christianity. Just because someone gets on a podcast doesn't mean they know, like, what they're talking about,
Or
yada,
the
yada,
scripture,
yada." And,
yeah.
like, his wife was basically like, "We text each other stuff, and then we just wait for the other person to say, 'Don't post that.'" Like,
Mhm.
some stuff you
The
need to run
amount
it
of
by someone before you put it
the
online.
amount of times that I type something, especially on Threads, and I type it, right? And then I pause, I look at it, and I delete. You would be shocked at how often I delete something before it ever goes on to Threads. If it's gone through my like discernment meter and hit Threads, it means I thought I was like I'm standing by what I said, right? But more times than not, I'm like I don't need the smoke, I don't need the aggravation, I don't need to waste my time on this because I've gone kind of semi-viral. I go semi-viral probably every other week. So yeah.
I was on allhiphop.com this week, and I reported them for using my content without giving me credit.
Oh, oh,
Oh,
You know,
god.
this is my thread.
oh shit.
If
It'd be like that sometimes.
I was like, "Nope, we're not doing this."
That's funny.
Thank you to the creators on Threads for making me realize that because they were like, "Nope, I'm monetized on these platforms. I am reporting everybody and everything without credit." And I was like, "You know what?
Whoa.
You're right. I don't have to be monetized to do it. You're not gonna take it and create conversations and use my stuff, without crediting me. All you had to do was tag me. I probably wouldn't I didn't even know till somebody tagged me. It was like, "Hey, you're on you went viral." And I was like, "What?" Um,
Whoa. Hmm.
but yeah, you do, that was like, shoot, now I got attention on me. Like, how many people gonna start coming to my page, see what I'm talking about?
Yo, speaking of Threads, Chloe is actually I think it's funny when other people tell you when you go viral, cause like, Chloe is the one
Oh
that
my
told
god.
me, and I mean, like, I literally posted this at, like, maybe midnight and just, like, went to sleep, like, didn't think anything of it, and then, like, I wake up the next day to a text from Chloe being like, "Hey, you need to plug Melanin MVP under this post," and I go and it's, like, 1,500 likes or something. I'm like, "What?
Holy
Where did you guys come from? What is happening right now?" But, like, it's happened a couple times. I've had a couple posts that have gotten over, like, 1,000 likes, and I'm like, "Okay, Threads is working. This is overwhelming. My god. This is crazy." But Threads is
but you
interesting.
know what I have a question. What do you think would happen if so Threads currently doesn't pay creators. There was a really good post about this actually,
Okay.
about how creators create this amazing content on Threads and they're not compensated. However, Threads currently still allows people to post outbound, links and things like that. Like there's ways to go to your platform. Like people are definitely selling on Threads. Um, should they pay people like a creator fund or like what do you think would happen
I think they have
to
to.
the energy?
They have
They don't
to.
have one now.
I know,
They
but they should.
did, but they don't now. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
honestly, they
think
should.
I
Bring it
think
back.
I think it'll be a mistake for them to start paying people to be on there.
Not paying people, like, outright, like how Facebook is trying to pay people to move, but I mean, like, rev share, yeah, I think they should definitely be doing that.
I think that's why we're in the boat we're in with a lot of content creation is because now it's gonna taint, now people are just being organic and just having conversations and talking. I think when you start adding the money is when you're gonna start getting the LinkedIn posts.
I think one thing I will say about the Threads program, to my understanding, the only reason I knew about it is because people would like, Threads had it where, like, if you hit a certain whatever, you would get a bonus. I think it was, like, an impressions, like,
Yeah.
number or something, and so people were trying
Mhm.
to game the algorithm to reach the Threads bonus threshold. I think that is a mistake. Like, I think the reason that YouTube monetization works and has worked for so long is because their monetization thresholds are clear, and once you reach them, there is no bonus. They have a membership option if people wanna pay to be a member of your channel, but other than that, like, there is no bonus. So,
I
like so I think that's why it works. I think Threads, TikTok, Instagram, they all need to, like, get on the same page in terms of, like, rev share, having it standard, and just, like, if people want to be monetized on those platforms, they have a clear goal. Once they hit it, it's just, like, regular posting for them. They don't necessarily need to game an algorithm to hit a bonus or, like, post, like, LinkedIn content to try to, like, game the system to get engagement. So, that's my thoughts.
I love that. I love I hadn't even like for me originally what Corey was talking about, which is I remember when they were monetizing before and how people were engaging on Threads who were focused on that was very different than how they are now. And I love how it works now, but a revenue share, like, that's a totally different, like, vibe. Um, from the back end as as a creator. For me, I think that's a great way to approach it.
Well, I think we're gonna see some changes coming because, Facebook Meta just lost that lawsuit about and I think YouTube is gonna have some changes coming too, from that law. A lot of companies are gonna start changing stuff from that lawsuit about the addiction stuff that Meta
Oh,
so that's I think that's gonna be another thing that's gonna affect how creators are getting paid on these platforms too.
Well, I think
mm,
Meta has, like, statistically just, like, struggled. Like, I think Facebook is still their biggest product, and so they're still trying to get people to, like, create on Facebook and not just post misinformation. And I think that's always gonna be Facebook's biggest struggle. But, like, the reality is, like, Threads is popping right now, and, like, they're doing a lot of things right with Threads, whether it's, like, for podcasters, for creators in general. I love the little, like, um,
Well,
where you can,
oh,
like,
there's still
hide
it's
part
still
of
black
something,
content on Thread
spoiler alerts.
and
Uh,
how they ban certain accounts because people use the reporting thing against when they don't like something on
yeah,
there, but that with black creators, there's been some issues with that, with accounts
I'm su
being shut
that's
down.
every platform, though. LinkedIn has
Yeah.
that issue as well,
mhm.
if we're being honest, and I'm not giving them an out or a scapegoat. I'm not saying they shouldn't fix it, but that is, like, not a Threads exclusive problem. Like, every social media problem has that problem. So,
I
If
am
it was gonna
never
be a
on
rev
LinkedIn.
if it was gonna be a rev share, what would that look like for a short like, what, Michael saying, like, how do you pay people for short form written content? Would it
um,
be ads of a scene on, on your I don't know, like, what would that be?
yeah, I think it's an ad rev share. Hopefully they don't get shitty ads like Twitter has, but that's how Twitter is doing it. It's an ad share.
Maybe that's something that's coming because they added that option where people could see how many, where it goes public now, like, how much views or whatever you have.
Yeah.
I never really looked into it, but I know, like, people were talking about it, a couple of days ago, showing how many actual views they get on their posts.
Yeah, you can see it. I mean, yeah, I think it's just gonna have to be an ad rev share. Keep it simple.
Oh,
Um, but,
cool.
You know,
Michael says
Facebook's interesting. Wait, go
sorry,
ahead.
can you go to Michael in the comments? He says and Shamiko. Shamiko says, "When people are doing it for funds instead of fun, the energy changes." And Michael says,
Mhm.
"On Twitter, it incentivizes people to say the most controversial things because that's what people would engage with the most." Here's what I will say about Threads. People already say the most crazy shit.
Yeah, because, I think a lot of people think it's incentivized, and they're trying to get there. Yeah, they do say some crazies, and there's a lot of bots on there.
People, like, I don't know how I got my algorithm
Wild.
this way, and I do hit not interested quite a bit, but, like, women will come back from dates and be sharing their, like, sex stories. Like, there are certain things you couldn't
This is
waterboard out of
crazy.
me, and y'all come into the internet like we're just your homegirls, like, we're your group chat, and you're just giving us date updates, or, like, people will be like, "Oh, I slid in this girl's DMs. I'll check back in with y'all later," and, like,
Did you see the one about the shape of the girl's head? Did you see
no,
that one this
no.
week?
Yes.
I was like, this guy was like, I noticed that this girl has a really pleasant head shape, and I'd like to let her know. And everyone's like, so they encouraged him to do it, and, she actually responded, and other people were like, she does have a pleasantly shaped head." I mean, Threads is hilarious. How is this real?
Yeah, so, I mean, like,
How?
would monetizing on Threads make people say controversial, crazy things? There already are. At least pay the people. I don't know.
But I think with the engagement Threads is getting, I don't think they need, it's almost like, if it's broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, maybe there is a part of Threads that's like, we're not gonna monetize in that capacity. Maybe they're monetizing your personal data because, when you accept the use of the app and everything, they're just gleaming all kind of data from you. So maybe that's where they're making their money over Threads, like
That's how Meta has always
But
made their
that's
money.
not for
They
us
need
to make money.
exactly.
yeah, they don't need you if everybody's going on there and just giving free data. Like, why should I pay you for anything?
I mean,
No,
why
but the
does
point
Facebook need
is
creators then if that's the case? Facebook has plenty of data. Why do they need creators?
They don't.
I actually think that Facebook doesn't need the platform anymore because they have the Pixel. They have all the data. I don't know why. Like, it's intriguing to me that
Because
they still keep
it's
the platform.
addictive. It's addictive. It is addictive. It is a place.
Yeah, but they have all this data. Like, they could just deploy the Pixel and just,
I
like,
think it has
remove the
something to do
platform
with
and teach people.
I think it has something to do with the wearables.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. The glasses.
Like, I think we're headed to a world and this is, like, my crazy conspiracy theory, but I think
Wait,
Facebook
let me put my tinfoil hat on.
thank you for
Okay.
coming appropriately. So, I think Facebook and somewhat Snapchat, 'cause I think Snapchat is also working on, like, wearables, like, I think
People
they're
sleep.
trying to get you to a place where, like, you have on glasses and you're spending time in a virtual reality with your friends that you have on Facebook. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so I think that's where they're headed. So I think they can't get rid of Facebook because that's, like, your main network, and, like, that's how you're gonna connect with the glasses, and that's, like, the main ploy of, like, "Oh, people are lonely? Don't be lonely, buy our glasses and hang out with your friends anytime." Like, I think it's
I've
weird, but I
watched
think that's what they want.
I've I've read and watched Ready Player One. It's like, I wish these people would remember that we have also consumed the same dystopian fiction that they have. You might not be wrong, though. I mean, um, they are leaning heavily into the glasses, and I'm sure other wearable products. I actually have to wear glasses, so I don't want to do that.
There was an
I'm
update
wearing
today
contacts right now.
there was an update today by, Leah Haberman that said that Facebook is now making Meta glasses specifically for people with prescriptions.
That's all right. My
So,
prescriptions
like
are
I
already
said
expensive.
I think they're trying to get
Girl.
people into the wearables.
I thought they had
I
prescription
will
glasses.
admit. Huh?
I don't think so. I think you would have to get it separately, like, you would have to get the glasses and then get the prescription lenses separately, which is what most people are
Bless
doing
you.
for this, but
Oh, you heard that?
Well, I saw you,
Oh,
like,
I
sneeze.
pressed mute. I was like, my mute button's not working now. What the hell?
I didn't think you were miming a sneeze, like, like, I'm gonna admit something, though, which is Shamiko, that's a great movie. Gattaca, great movie. Um, I am starting a Facebook page strategy for my Colorado page. I am. And I'm gonna see how that goes. And if it goes as well as my threads go, I might be getting paid from Facebook. So we'll see, by the end of the year how that goes. I'll keep you guys posted
I had,
because, like,
I
why
had,
not?
I had an idea, real quick, get rich scheme using AI and Facebook, and I was told not to do it,
Oh shit!
so I didn't do it. And I couldn't do it without like there was no way for me to mask myself enough so that it would never come back to me. So that's why I haven't done it.
Oh my lord. Okay, okay, yeah, don't do that. Whatever it was, don't do it.
Oh,
See
that would have been
me,
perfect. It would
it's
have been perfect, but it was
I'm
just
on. Okay.
it wouldn't. It's nothing harmful. It was just it was
I
just
didn't
people
think it
with
was
Twitter
harmful, but if you were given this advice, I can't wait for you to tell us what the idea was offline.
account.
she said offline real quick.
I'll do that in the
Offline.
group chat. I'll do it in the group chat.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Oh
Well, we've been at this for an hour, and normally I wouldn't say Miko, but my laptop is about to die, so we do in fact
and I wanna
have
watch Paradise
have you seen
because I haven't seen it yet.
Project Hail Mary yet?
No, because I don't go to movies that often or quickly,
You have to see it
so
in
I'll
movies.
probably watch it about this time next year. That's how I am.
I know, but this is as a sci-fi fan, I highly urge you to go see it in IMAX.
I'm not even gonna tell you how long it took me to see Sinners,
That's
and
okay.
and that
I'm a
was a
sci-fi
priority.
fan.
That was a priority, okay, and I was like, "Shit, I have to see this before
I'm I'm
certain
I'm just
date."
I'm just telling you, you should see it in IMAX.
I'd rather read the book. Thank you, Lauren. I'll read the book faster than
Okay,
I'll
read
watch
the
the
book,
movie.
that's fine, just like I'd rather watch I like watching Dune, I like reading the book, so it doesn't it's
I've
not
read both.
but
I I read the if it's based off a book, I'll read the book first and then watch the movie.
okay. I heard the audiobook is really good. I might check that out.
What's the Liberty Service Center?
Yeah, anyway,
What's
Debbie.
that? Science Center.
Anyway, it was a good movie. Go see it in IMAX. It was a great experience in IMAX.
I believe you. Dune is not boring. What? Have you read the book, Michael?
Yeah, Sinners was good in IMAX. I saw it in IMAX on 70 millimeter.
Oh, I would have loved that. That's all right. So guys, don't forget for April, but not tomorrow, okay? We're gonna be going live on Wednesdays. All
You
right.
might be rolling the dice tomorrow. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Oh Lord. Oh my I'm gonna be at the Avs game. So um but we're going to be going live on Wednesdays with the exception of this week. I would
Okay.
agree, Thaddeus. I agree on that. So Angela, would you like to start the outbound, outro situation?
I was gonna say you go to start it because you're already talking. So
No, I'm not.
Fuck to be. Hi, my name is Corey Gums. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome to the show. Good night. I'm the founder of Black Podcast Association and run the newsletter Black Pod News right here on Substack.
hey everybody, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for 1 hour and 4 minutes. Not that I'm counting. I write Please Hustle Responsibly, which is a newsletter community for creative entrepreneurs, and I write and produce Melanin MVP, which is also a community for women sports fans and everyday athletes. So thank you guys for joining us. Cannot wait to see you guys next week on Wednesday. Michelle?
Hey everyone, thank you so much. My name is Michelle Jackson. I run Creators Getting Paid, where I talk to creators about building their brands through collaboration and email list building. I also run a website and podcast about Colorado called Square State Colorado because Colorado's square. And I'm really excited to watch the finale of Paradise because so many people have shared freaking, like spoilers on threads that I can't even anyway. You guys have a beautiful night. I hope it's raining where you are, and
I forgot to add to
bye.
my call to action.
Wait, no bye.
If I come up on your if you see my account come up for Corey Gums on Substack, please follow it. I'm actually gonna be releasing my own newsletter soon. I've started writing it already. So start following me and subscribe, please.
All
That's my
right.
Yay.
Have a good night, guys.
all right, have a good night.